On the phone with us right now, it's time to talk to our buddy, Mr. Gary Alexander. How are we doing, Gary? You there, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm here. What's up, Eric? It's been too long.
Man, it has. It's been far too long, man, and just, oh my gosh. I was just telling you off the air a moment ago, so many people will mention thank you for the new music, and they tell me thank you, and I'm like, no, don't thank me. Thank these artists. Thank the bands. Thank the people that's writing the music, producing the music, singing the music, and you are one of those trifecta kind of people that you do it all, man. So yeah, salute you, man.
Yeah, I try. I do a little bit of everything, but Eric, don't sell yourself short. I think that North Carolina should pass a law that every time someone addresses you, they should say Hall of Famer Eric Bowman. just like the sports figures on TV, you know, like Hall of Famer Larry Bird attended Pacers' first pre-draft workout, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, bless you.
I mean, you do a great job, brother. You know, you're worthy of all the thanks that you get. It's, you know, because you do so much for all these bands and everybody that's out there. So we appreciate you, brother.
Well, God bless you, man. I'm still in shock. I really am. I mean, it's a blessing and honor, and words can't say how much music and the beach music family has meant to me over the years, and still to this day. You know, through the good times, through the bad times, through COVID. I mean, God bless, and
yeah.
You know, so yeah, the beach music community is beautiful. I mean, I can't say enough about the community and the music too, really.
Hey, man, I got an idea. Why don't I call you during the show at some point and I interview you?
Okay, sure. Hey, let's do it.
I think that would be kind of interesting. We'll just flip it around a bit.
Well, man, I've got one. I mean, last night it ended up. I mean, I'm a big concert goer. I love seeing live music. There's nothing like it. I mean, hearing the songs on the radio.
I saw a headline a while ago. It said Hall of Famer Eric Bowman was spotted at the Janet Jackson concert in Charlotte.
Man, Janet Jackson last night turned it out. I mean, I've seen her several times before, and she always does a phenomenal job. But man, she didn't miss a lick. I mean, it was. There's no way I could have been, you know, got up there and danced like a fourth or a fifth or a hundredth of her show that she did, and she was up there just getting it like a bunny. I mean, everybody was in amazement. But man, Gary, what was your first concert? Who's the first band or group that you went to go see?
It was probably some Cavemen. I mean, I'm so old. No, seriously, I don't remember. It was probably somebody like Grand Funk Railroad or Doobie Brothers, you know, somebody like that back in the day.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. And I have a funny feeling you've seen a ton of people. Who's some of the bands that you've seen over the years? Well,
you know, I've worked so much. I mean, they don't do it as much now, you know, but when I was coming up, you know, playing clubs, and I mean, I've been on the road since I was 14 years old, and I'm 65 now, so, you know, we were always playing. So if I saw a band, it was usually in the hallway of the hotel that I was staying in where I was playing that night. You know, 'cause we never got to go to many concerts, you know, unless we just happened to have that night off, because the concerts are on, you know, Fridays, Saturday nights and stuff like that, and we were always playing. So those would be the nights that there wouldn't be anybody in the club.
Right.
Playing to an empty house. Everybody's down the street, you know, watching Van Halen or something like that.
Oh man, so true. And as far as some of your musical influences over the years, then, I mean, who would you say are some of those that have gotten to your mind and your spirit to help, you know, encourage you to do what you do?
Well, man, you know, when I grew up, I mean, I came from a very rural part of Virginia, up in the mountains, if you've ever heard Loretta Lynn's Coal Miner's Daughter. That's kind of the way I grew up. So we only had 2 stations on our TV, you know, when I was a little boy and first learning to play guitar. And believe it or not, you'll probably know who this is because he's from Charlotte. Arthur Smith was the very first guitar player that I ever saw outside of just people in my neighborhood, you know, and old bluegrass musicians and stuff like that, you know, that would play the Fiddlers Convention or something.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw him play on TV, I think that was the very first time that I was like, wow. You know, and then the next thing that happened was I was at a friend's house, and they had a better TV than we did, so I saw the Beatles. You know, I saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show. I think, what was that, 1964 or something like that? It was a long time ago.
Wow.
And that changed my life. I mean, from that moment on, you know, I couldn't stay out from in front of a mirror with a hairbrush, you know, singing. We'd take an old cigar box or something and stuff a stick in it and act like it was a guitar, you know, things like that. So, I mean, the influences from professionals like Steve Lukather, he's a guitar player that I've always loved. Those kind of guys didn't come around until I was in my 20s, you know, and stuff like that. But early on, you know, there wasn't a lot going on, so you didn't have many people to look up to.
Yeah. And it's funny you said that about Arthur Smith and then later Studio East and Tim Eaton and all of the many unbelievably talented people, you know, local, regional, and national artists that floated through that building to either record a test or to record the final thing. You know, James Brown did that. It popped in there. And but anyways, back then, though, in seeing, say, Arthur Smith, I mean, and seeing those guys perform, I saw them actually at the Catawba County Fair. Tommy Fail and all of those guys with the Arthur Smith band, and yeah, that was very very influential in looking and seeing and hearing how they performed and how they carried themselves. You know, that certainly transcends the things of we do today and influences things. But as far as man, this song though, this is absolutely amazing. Everybody's going to love this song. If you don't, it'll really surprise me. But this one's called "There's Always Beach Music." Give us a little insight on how this one come to be.
Well, I'll try to give you a little. You know, I'm long-winded, so here we go.
That's all right.
You know, I'm typically a quiet guy. I'm a listener. I listen to people. I've always been a quiet person. I'm constantly learning from everything I hear around me. In fact, you have to be careful what you say around me. It could end up in a song. Just a few weeks ago, I heard a guy on the radio say, "You radiate like the sun, and you always get it done." So I wrote that down, and that guy was you. I think you said that in an interview with Al Woodruff when you debuted their song about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly looking for ideas of things to write about. And I heard a song that my friend Brian Wheeling had written. Now, when people ask me if I do cover songs, I like to say I don't cover songs, I uncover them.
There you go.
So when I heard this tune that Brian had written, I immediately heard something totally different from what he was conveying. So when I say I uncover songs, what I mean is I try to figure out ways to interpret songs a different way. And, you know, I asked Brian, I said, "Man, what are you going to do with that song?" He's an old friend of mine that, talking about influences, he was one of the first guitar player influences that I had. I wanted to do everything that he did. I learned so much from this guy. It's amazing that I'm still getting things from him. But he shared this song with me, and I told him, I said, "Man, I think I can flip that around." And in this beach music community that I've gotten myself in the door with, I think they'll really like this. So he let me take the song and just completely rearrange it. The music's not the same. Lyrically, it's pretty much the same. I think I added a few things to it, like a little bridge that's in there where it breaks down. You'll hear that in a few minutes. But that's how the song came about. I haven't done any covers yet, but I kind of feel like this is a cover, even though it's not something that people have heard before. It was his song, and so we share in the co-writing aspect of that. That's pretty much how it happened, really.
Man, that's great. That's great. And lo and behold, in the studio from Beach Music Cafe is our friend, Mr. Rick Trull. Rick has stepped in. He's got a question for you, man. Go ahead, Rick. You're good.
Good morning, okay. Gary. How you doing, buddy?
Great. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, man. How many guitars do you have?
Not enough. No, I've got, you've probably seen the pictures of my studio where I sit in front of my camera all the time, and I've got my guitars on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
The most I've ever had was 32, but what it is I live in a place where people come to this city all the time, and they come here to make it big, just like everybody does. And within a month or two, they're broke. They don't have anywhere to sleep, no place to go to eat, and they end up pawning their equipment. So if you're ever in the market for used equipment, this is the place to find it, because they pawn it, and you can get really good deals on stuff. So I look for these guitars. I bring them in. I reset them up, and then I sell them on a marketplace.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you.
Yeah, man.
But the problem is that a lot of them, after I get them set up and everything, I really like them, and I can't get rid of them. So that's how I ended up with that many. I'm cutting down right now, so right now I own 14.
I heard that. Well, I'll tell you what, I've heard your new song, and it is killer, man. I love it.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome, man, and keep putting the music out there for us, man. All of us on Beach Music Cafe, we love your works.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And, I don't really know how to say this, but I was almost afraid to put this one out because I was afraid that it might come across as being a little cheesy. I've never done a full-blown beach music song before, but this song is not for me. This song I did specifically for the beach music community, and that's why I didn't try to embellish it with a bunch of solos and, sax solos and stuff like you typically hear in these songs. I just got to the point, made it fun, and cut it off. So there you go.
Well, I tell you what, the beach music community has really got a surprise when they hear this.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Man, this is fantastic, and I tell you what, man, with the buzz on this, I'm hoping at some point that we can hear you do it live, man, because I tell you what, this is such an exciting song and something you can shag to, something you can groove to, and man, it would be cool to see you do it live, man. I hope that can happen sometime, man, because you're always cool on stage, man. You always got that good vibe and everything up there, man. So miss seeing you out and about grooving, man.
That would be awesome, Eric. I mean, that's something that I pray for myself.
Oh, yeah, it will happen. Well, I'll tell you what, anything you want to say to your fans and your friends out there before we do the debut of this song? It's called There's Always Beach Music.
Well, everybody comes on here, and of course I want to thank everybody. Everybody sees my posts on Facebook and stuff, and they know how much I love them. Love is such a powerful thing, I'm not one of those guys that can't say that word. That's a good example of a word that's so powerful that a lot of men have trouble saying it. But I don't. I love everybody, and I just totally appreciate all their support and everything they've done. But real quick, I don't want to make this dark, but I want to ask everybody within my voice if they would pray for my mother. My mother is laying on her deathbed in Vanderbilt Hospital right now. She may not even make it through the day. I'm using this song as a distraction for me to try to bring some joy into her family. And I just want to ask everybody to pray that she doesn't suffer anymore.
Amen.
She's not going to live much longer. The cancer that she's got is going to take her life. But I just hate watching her suffer. She's so uncomfortable. She's in so much pain, and her body organs are shutting down and stuff. So that's all. I mean, I really didn't want to make this dark, you know. Cause
no, listen, it's not at all, man.
They call it the fun one for a reason.
Well, but you know what? We call it the Beach Music family for a reason, too. And so many friends that are from, whether it be up north, out west, around the world that I encounter, some people come up to me and they say, man, what do you mean by the Beach Music family? What are you talking about? I mean, they look at me like, you know, I'm a nine-eyed billy goat or something. I mean, and I explain to them that these are people that get together not only to fellowship and enjoy the music, but to dance and to pray for each other and to hang out together through the good times and the bad times. And we had those friends when we were in elementary and junior high and high school and college. And then as we've gotten older, we've all kind of drifted our own ways with our families, our kids, or whatever the case may be. And but this is a beautiful, beautiful community that adults getting together and you know, making new friends, and yeah, so I really appreciate you saying that, though, man, and we will certainly be praying for your mom, and I've got to ask this, though, okay, because I do follow you on Facebook, all right? How do you get those beautiful birds to come up in your hand? I mean, if you haven't seen these... this is like Ripley's Believe It or Not to me, okay? I mean, if you haven't seen, go to Gary Alexander's Facebook page. You've got wonderful photographer too, by the way. But I mean,
I'll try
to see Gary will put some bird feed in his hand. Okay, he'll go out on the back deck and he'll stand there, and all of a sudden here he comes. You know, just plops right there on his hand like it was. I mean, I'm like, wow, how all right, so tell us your secret there, David Copperfield.
Well, man, the main secret is patience.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it, but you have to catch these birds when they're desperate. I started doing this in the dead of winter during an ice storm when they couldn't get any food, you know. So, you know, like right now, I haven't seen, I call it crooner. There's one that chirps all the time, so he's always singing, so I call him crooner. Mm-hmm. And that bird, you know, in the cold months of the year, it meets me at the door every single morning. Wow. It sits on the chair, and it'll lean over and turn its head and watch for me to come into the dining room. And if I see him sitting there, I just open the door. Most of the time, I don't even have to go outside. I can just stick my arm out the door, and he'll jump up on my hand and take his peanuts. But see, right now, they're out nesting and taking care of families and mating and all that sort of stuff. So I went for a whole month not even seeing him, and then lo and behold, a couple of days ago, he was sitting there, you know. But then he's disappeared again for a couple of days. So, but I've been feeding these birds for like 6 years, so they know me. Oh. And I hang out, you know, on the back deck all the time. That's where I live, you know, when I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I'm sitting on my back deck with my birds, and I've got feeders all around really close to me, so they're used to being right up next to me.
That's great,
but,
man.
You know, the first thing I did was I laid the peanuts on the table where I was sitting, and they would come up, and they got used to coming up and getting the peanuts, and then I just move them a little bit closer, you know, and this took weeks until I finally just started sitting there with them in my hand, and I'd have to sit in one position and not hardly even breathe, just move my eyes, basically, to not freak them out.
Right.
Until they finally start. Once they do it, they're okay. Yeah. But getting them to do it that one time is really, really hard.
Getting them to cross the bridge, man. Yep. That is so cool, man. I mean, there's a I actually was looking for, I saw this somewhere on TV or something, in other words, it's a little it's a plexiglass bird feeder, has suction cups on it that'll go up to your window, and you can
I have one.
Dude, that is the coolest thing, man.
Well, it is, but like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm very cautious of things that can hurt birds. And birds, I don't know if you've ever seen them attack a window. What it is they see birds are territorial, so if they see their reflection, they'll fly at it and flog it, so they can get injured by hitting windows. And that's one thing that's a problem with that particular one. And a lot of people put their hummingbird feeders in the windows, and same thing. Those long beaks that they are so soft, and I've seen many hummingbirds hit the window and break those beaks. Well, once they break the beak, they can't eat.
Oh, man.
And they'll just die, So, there's a whole lot of things that goes into this. If you really think about it and you care about the birds, you have to be careful with some of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
These manufacturers, man, they're all about making money. They don't care. They're just whatever it takes to sell something. But, a friend of mine bought me one of those. They're like $60. And this guy bought it for me. He's probably listening right now. Thank you, Tim. That's my other songwriting partner down in Texas, Tim Roberts. He bought it and shipped it to me. Didn't even tell me. It just showed up at my house, But I figured out a way that I can use it. I just put something behind it on that one panel where the window is to keep it from having reflection.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool. That's cool. Well, man, I appreciate your time, and I do appreciate your friendship more than you know, and certainly appreciate, man, the new music that you do, the original stuff you do. I mean, well, hey, it's really all original stuff. So, I mean, that's really appreciated more than you know. And, man, Rick Trull, Beach Music Cafe, thank you for stopping by as well. And, man, let's go ahead and get this one on. Hold on. Say hey, Rick, one more time, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, now. There he is. I told you he's live and in living color right here, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a scary thought. But Gary, on a note here, you've got 44,000 people praying for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, not for me. It's for Mom, but
Yes,
in a way, that's for me.
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's right, man. That's right. Well, man, God bless you. Hang in there, man. Hang in there. And, man, let's get this one on. This is called There's Always Beach Music. And, man, Gary, once again, thank you, brother. We appreciate you. And, hey, let's get it on, man. All right. Have a great one, man, Gary. We appreciate you again, bro.
All right. Love you, bro.
All right, man. Love you too, man. Appreciate you. And there he goes. And here we go. This is the world premiere. Gary Alexander's There's Always Beach Music.
Gary Alexander.
You can travel all across the land. People don't seem to care.
safe new beach music countdown with Eric Bowman. This is Fun One Radio.